guys. I'm going to pack the bike and go for a ride somewhere out in the bush. Don't know yet where, but yeah, need to get out of here. Need to get in the bush. So here's the camping shed. A lot of my stuff, loose stuff's stacked in here, eskies, rods, that sort of thing. But today we need the bike stuff, so go into here. We have all my bike stuff's kept, most of it anyway. Pantry, you'll see that later. Sleeping bag, cooking, chair, pots and pans. So we'll get the bike loaded and figure out where we're going to go. Rightio, so what are we packing? Got the esky, got tarps, all the shelter stuff, ropes, chair, ground mat, table and ground mat, chair, kitchen stuff, dog, becoming rocks this time, hammock and blow up mattress, we'll get to that later, and of course the swag again, it's going to go over the back seat with the pillows and the sleeping bag in it. So next up we've got to get it all on the bike, and where are we going to pack you, Rox? Where are we going to pack you? Somewhere in the fuel tank. Bigger, lanky objects go in first, of course. I normally use all the smaller stuff to pad it out so it's not rattling on you. Last time I had it loaded up, these panniers are good for 10 kilos each. Either side I had about 9.9 kilos, so right on the limit of what I can carry. The other thing too, I've been trying to limit one side for cooking, one side for tent, shelter and clothes, just so when I get to camp I'll take the pannier off, set up in my kitchen, take the other one off where I'm going to set up for sleeping, and yeah, go from there. We'll talk about this esky later, why I went with an esky like this. I think it's pretty obvious the way you can see. It's in here. What else is in cooking? Gas. Gas cooker. Where is? Oh. Something new for this trip if I can fit it in. Little 2 kilo gas bottle. Got the top cut out of it for enclosed fire. Put your little grill over the top, grill on it, cook on it, boil your water, all that sort of thing too. So I'll see if I can fit it in somewhere. If not, it might be in a separate video later. So I've decided I have a bush camp I haven't been back to since December. It's now April, so I think it's about time I go out there and camp there for the night, since I spent all the time wrecking and looking for it. So let's head on out there. Pig. So the bike's loaded up again. I've probably got, I reckon I've got 60 kilo extra on board. So it's going to be a bit of a heavy ride out there, but luckily I'm neutral. Not going far. So. Unfortunately, with all the stuff packed on the bike, it's a good pack horse. This is probably about as extreme off-road I'll do on it, on dirt. Just at the end of the day, it's a Chinese bike. It's not really built for our conditions, and I'd love to get a DRZ 400 or a bit of an older 4-stroke, just to load up and be able to come out and do some of the tighter bush stuff. When you're with other people, yeah, you tend to race and fly around the bush, but when you're by yourself and just want to take your time, you don't need a big powerful bike. So maybe one day, but then then I'll be condensing all the stuff I've got on board down to a lot less stuff, and I suppose once it warms up again and get back into summer, a lot of your hiking, sleeping bags, the hammock, that sort of thing, it'll be a lot easier to carry that sort of stuff on soft panniers or a backpack on your back while you're riding. So we haven't got too far to go here, so I'll shut up and concentrate on what I'm doing so I don't crash, because that'd be good to get on camera, wouldn't it? And next stop, camp budget, a bush camp on a budget. Oh, that's big kangaroo. You big bastard scared the shit out of me. Speaking of scaring the shit out of me, look at him. Hey, that's look at you. I don't want to get off my bike because then I'll look smaller than him. God, that's a big roo. No, I've taken the wrong thing. Oh, pushing 5.5, half a ton of push bike back. Do that, they say.
I don't know if he's going to stay there. Oh. Or if the bike's going to stay there. Look at the size, and I'm not getting any closer than this because that bloke's taller than me. What do you reckon? Hey? Kind of alarmed here. You just stay there and keep your puff chest to yourself. I'm going to try and back this bike up. I'm going to turn around, all of a sudden the bastard's on me back. Oh, I haven't got any neutral. That's a good start. As I said, I've I was here for the you don't have to stand up like that, I'm going the other way. I was here for the bush camp video in December, and come out early January after some real heavy rain to see what the camp was like, and haven't been out here since, and obviously it's a sign because I've been lost twice on the track. Go on, fuck off. The paranoia going to have a piss or a midnight shit tonight, knowing that bastard's there, is going to be exceptional. Anyway, enough on that. Once I have a decent look, I can see the tracks here still fairly well made ahead of me. The sun is about to drop down over the hill. Plywood's still here. Oh, didn't want that to happen. Oh, one issue of this bike, I really wish first was a bit lower. But anyway. Oh. Well, here we are, back at the bush camp. Still a little concerned that that kangaroo's just standing over there watching me. So, oh, it should be fun. I'm gonna leave the bike there for now. I'll move it up between a couple of trees. I might just drape the tarp over it tonight. Into camp late, not much I could do about it. Luckily all the wood and that's still here. Obviously no one's been here since my last trip in. No obvious signs anyway, so bit of gum scrub coming up there. I'm gonna get the fire going real quick, but before I do anything, I'm just gonna sit. I might even go and sit on my table rock over there for about 10 minutes and just wait and see what the mosquitoes do. Last time I was up here, as soon as I stopped the bike, obviously the bike would have disturbed them coming through the leaves and that, but once I stopped, it was just mozzies in your face, and I don't do that shit. So we'll give it a couple of minutes and then we might establish camp. Alright, so what we got here. After doing a lot of thinking, having a hammock, having a tent, you still got to take a mat, sleeping bag, pillows, all that sort of stuff with you. If it's going to be wet or dewy, you want to be able to keep that stuff dry as well. This is my old single swag. It's a bushwhacker. I got it back in 2002 when I joined the army, and it's been a great swag ever since. Same mattress too, so it's lost a little bit of that comfort, but that's the inflatable mattress eventually is going to fix all that. But yeah, you're a little bit heavy. I'd love to get just one of the single swags with the flap that you could sleep in. That way, if you do it does start to warm up a bit or get colder, have a tent and have the tent just folded up, rolled up with the swag. That way, it's all in one sort of unit on the back of the bike, and you don't have to worry about things getting wet or things getting displaced. So as we start moving into the colder months, unfortunately I still haven't slept in the hammock yet. It's probably not going to happen now until the end of the year when it starts warming up again. So like the swag's the way to go. I can cocoon myself in there. I've got my big king sleeping bag back in there now, so it's going to be a little bit bulky compared to summer when you're going to have a small, real light sleeping bag. But I think it's going to do the best for what I'm after. So yeah, again, this is the bushwhacker swag. These are some the old 3-prong round barbecue legs, because the legs I had for it are long since gone. There's supposed to be two here, two little ones at the other end, and you can pull it up, so it's a little bit of a coffin. But as long as that's up, it keeps the canvas off your face. This time of year, you're going to be cocooned in there anyway, so it's not going to be a problem. So that's our sleeping arrangements. And yeah, worst case, it was going to be a little bit of a warmer night. Under your flap, and you can throw it over, and you got the mozzie net there. Although in saying that, I've slept in this before with the flap open, and pretty much every little hole in that mozzie net a mosquito has landed on and just completely raped my arm. So it's something to bear in mind. Depends where you're going. As you're seeing coming in, there's still a bit of water lying around when we haven't had rain for a week and a bit, so I was surprised to see that. And because that water's lying around, the mosquitoes might be out a little bit too. But the fire's going, camp's pretty much set up. Just got a chair and a beverage to open, and yeah, starting to get hungry, so getting ready to cook some food. And I got something special, as I promised in episode 1. So yeah, bed done. It's good to get this sort of stuff done while the light's out. So probably got another half hour, 45 minutes of light left as the sun sinks deeper to the west. So I'm gonna keep on unpacking a couple of things, get some stuff ready, and yeah, get ready to do some cooking. Alright, so I've given it 10-15 minutes and there hasn't been a single mozzie on me, so knock on wood, even though there's something buzzing around my helmet. Oh, the old trusty rake is still here, so I'll start getting ready to get this fire going so I can get some coals to cook on later. Now, moved into camp late. It's just gone 4:30, so 4 o'clock, and that sun drops over that hill. So now I know for future trips to get here a bit earlier. Some issues happened during the day from when I was packing early this morning, so obviously we've gone from one side of the day to the other. Also, the hammock stayed at home, so I've got the swag. It's not a real good swag camp. The best spot for the swag is pretty much where I got the bike, so I'm going to move that in a minute and do some raking up, move some rocks, and get some camp. Ooh, that's the first one. So there's a slight breeze, but I'm going to set some mozzie coils up on the upwind side, and hopefully that's enough. It's not as bad as what it was, and I haven't really got time for a plan B, so we're going to... That's a big ass blowfly. we're going to start setting up some camp. I'll get the fire going, and yeah, we'll get into it. Evening campers, welcome back to the Budget Kitchen. Tonight, for this trip, episode 1 of this season, I talked about the lamb and vegetable hiking, freeze-dried hiking meal that you can buy. Went away, done some research, and found, yes, I could do it better. I could definitely do it cheaper, and we're going to go into that tonight. Now, I'm not going to use that. I love to use these, and this is the $49 Kmart one, so it's not an expensive, air quotes, jet boil. It's the Camp Master. On there, boiling water, coffee, boiling water, whatever else. It does a good job. But I just don't want the taste of cooking with me water when I boil it. I've had thermoses before where you have your chicken noodle soup, your stews, that sort of stuff in it, and as soon as you try and use it for hot water, you can taste it in there. So not doing that this time. Butane can. I've got my little butane stove that you've seen before, and put it on there to cook with, like that. It goes down. Not the most level of surfaces, but will do. And I've got my little camp pot there. It's going to sit on top. Now, this is my attempt at that freeze-dried meal. No, it's not freeze-dried. As I said in that video, to buy a proper freeze-dried unit, you're looking at thousands of dollars. This is a chicken soup, chicken stew. Depends on how thick you want it. At the moment, it's a stew. Add more water, how thick you want it, and that sort of thing. In your cryovac, it was used as a freezer. It's been frozen, so it's been the esky for a freezer block coming out here, keeping the drinks cold and milk and everything else for the morning. I've still got ice in there, so that's all right. So originally I was going to put a bit of water in the pot and cook it in the bag, but because I've had it sitting next to the fire, which is still burning down, I didn't realise how much wood was in there. I'm just going to tip it out straight into the pot, so give that a cut there. Click. There it goes. Now while I start cooking this, well really, all you're doing is reheating, so good thing about a fire, gets rid of the rubbish. While this is starting, and I'll get it started. From memory, this one didn't like to light, so I'll grab my lighter out of the pack. Also too, because these little jet balls, they have a real concentrated flame, so it's you're gonna get a lot of heat real quick, so we've got to be on top of this. Oh, other way. There we go. Alright, goes on there. I'll just go down minimum heat just for a start. Now, the way I've done this, normally I flavour it right up, so when you add water you don't need to add much more flavouring, but I add a little bit of water, extra water in there, because I do have some bread to dip into it if it is a little bit too liquidy. So while that's starting to warm up, here's how I went about doing my chicken noodle stew soup. Alright, so let's talk about chicken soup. I do the same thing with all my proteins, whether it's chicken drumsticks, chicken frames, lamb chops, lamb shanks, any sort of protein I want to cook into a soup or stew, always goes in the pot. Here obviously we've got 6 drumsticks, and normally do 4 litres, no, 2 litres of stock to go with it to start off with. This one I've done a 1/3 container of stock as well, and I normally do the low salt ones just because by the time you add the packet the chicken soup mixtures and that, they're pretty salty. So boil along, plenty of cracked black pepper as well to get that spice in there, just gives it a whole new flavour. Some medium sized large carrots, chop them up finely, diced them, put them in the pot. Parsnip as well. Parsnip's expensive, so you don't use a lot of it. Dice that up. One important thing is when you get to the end of the parsnip is to cut the core out of it, because unless you're cooking it for hours and hours and hours, that core stays rock hard and doesn't have a lot of flavour in it anyway. So cut the sides off, throw the core away, and you're going to do well with the parsnip. Dice it up. A couple of good sized onions as well. Dice them. Half celery. Normally I'll keep 1 or 2 sticks of celery for the kids for school, but everything else will go in the pot as well. Chop the celery up, chop the heads up. Unfortunately, you can't buy small amounts of parsley unless you're going to buy dried stuff, so I only used probably a 1/3 of this packet of parsley. The rest of it got put in the freezer for future soups. Everything chopped, diced, in the bowl, ready to go in. Once the chicken's cooked, which here it's cooked, take the drumsticks out, let them cool down slightly, enough that you can handle them, and then they get diced up, but everything else goes in the pot with that broth. Cut the chicken off the bone, good little paring knife, and it's pretty easy. The chicken pretty much just comes off. The big thing is make sure the I don't think it's a wishbone, but the little thigh bone doesn't come off with it and go in there, otherwise you're going to have a bad time. And I try and keep all the gristle and that sort of stuff on the drumstick as well. If it comes off, cut it out so it's not in there, because there's nothing worse than chewing hard bits in a soup or stew. So there we are, cooking along. This is probably the 2-hour mark. It's something you want to sort of have on for a little while. As you see there, it's starting to reduce a bit. All the onion's starting to go transparent. All the carrot, all your hard vegetables are going soft, which is good too. And then finally, it's ready to serve. Now, as I said earlier, all sorts of protein you can use in this, and here it's probably in the stew form. Once it goes in the fridge and cools down, it goes even thicker. Normally, I just reheat a couple of good soup spoons worth in a pot. Add some Gravox or some corn flour to thicken it more, and you've got a good hearty stew. loaded up with the flavourings. I've had the stock go in. Normally in the process too, I'll add 1 or 2 packets of the continental chicken noodle soup satchels as well, just because it's a nice chicken flavour that I like, and add some of the noodles to it, and surprisingly they don't go soggy like your cup of soup noodles, which is good. But all those ingredients, again, plus a couple of the continental 2-minute noodle, cup of soup, chicken noodle soup satchels, this whole thing come in at $19.95, which here I think I got 4 or 5 servings out of it, plus a little bit extra for eating at night time for dinner, so it worked out to be under $3 a serve, and I think that's a lot better than the freeze-dried stuff. Obviously, freeze-dried, you don't have to worry about it freezing or being cooled, but as you're going to see, we get multiple purposes out of it once it's in that freeze-dried bag. So that's the chicken soup. Again, lamb shanks, any sort of stew, I do exactly the same. Just cook it, and then once it's cooked like this, you can sort of go, right, bit of thickener, or go completely the other way and add a lot more water. Obviously that way, then you'd have to probably add a bit of chicken stock and some more spices to it just to flavour it a bit. So we'll get back to the campfire and see how the soup's reheating. Alright, so that's going there now. This is fabulous. This here is a little like a little pantry that I got eBay. I think it was about 20 bucks. So nice little bag. You recognise that, but a different colour. I got a second one just for the bike. In here, this is all plastic, not glass, which I was after as well. So you got a little detergent. I've got a little cooking oil container. Got a container of chili flakes, because most things you can add a little bit of heat to. Some soy sauce. In here I have a little bit of chicken stock. And finally, well, not finally, I've got a big tub of salt, more so if I'm doing any rice, that sort of stuff, or pasta where you want a bit of salt, and a little, I think it's a Coleman salt and pepper shaker. Again, in this little container. Growing up camping, when I first started camping, I had tubs, boxes, sort of your go-to pantry items that you always had with you. They always took up a lot of space, and 9 times out of 10 you never really used them. They were just there as a backup. Even after the Cameron Corner trip, had a lot of this stuff in the ute. I had a week's worth of food just sitting in the ute taking up space. So soy sauce isn't going to be needed now. 9 times out of 10 you go, right, I'm going away for a trip, what am I going to need, what am I going to cook, and you can organise things accordingly after that. When you're on the bike, especially when you're hiking, you're not going to want to take stuff that you're not going to be using all the time. So sit that there. I'm going to use some chicken stock just in case I do add a little too much water to it. By the sounds of that, there's still a little bit of icicles in the middle, so we'll keep that warming up. That's not too bad. I might just add a little bit of the chicken stock now, just so it cooks in. Now I've got white pepper, I've got pepper, salt. I don't think I had curry powder in here, but I don't really need that this trip, so that should nearly do for that. But again, great little portable pantry, fits anywhere in the bike, and is real easy to put some things in that you need. So keep that going. A little bit more heat, just to get that up to the boil, and be ready to serve. Keep stirring it. Again, when you have big pots on like this, you've only got that little flame underneath, so it's going to heat the center. You know, keep rotating around. As you're seeing, when I've done the ingredient list and actually cooking it, again, 12 bucks. Well, now they're about 15, 16, $17, depends what meat or protein you have in it for those freeze-dried stuff. And again, having a spare one on the bike wouldn't be too bad. I did predict it was going to clog me up, and yeah, I didn't require the restroom for the entire following day, so not even my constitutional wake up toilet trip. So it is good. It is a good thing, unless you want to get a one-off. But this, for $19, I've got ample amount for trips coming up. Or even if I get home late from work, I can throw one in a pot and defrost it and cook. So this, it's starting to get warm now, so we're not far off. The fire's died down a considerable amount, and yeah, we might nearly be ready to eat. So that's pretty much done now. Nice and warm. Move this stuff out of the way. As I said, got me bread here. Nothing better in winter or a cooler night away with a nice warm hearty food, stew, soup. And as I said, don't add water and keep it thick, and you'd probably be able to do it in jaffles, that sort of stuff. Have a chicken stew jaffle. It serves multiple purposes. It's been used as an ice brick in the esky. It's got all these great hearty ingredients in there. No preservatives. No powdered mashed potato. I'm happy with that, so I'm going to turn that off. That then over there so it cools down. Oh, marvellous. 9 times out of 10 you cook your own food, it's not going to look that appetising, but just the flavours, the onion, the celery, the carrot. Yeah, and again, for $19, I think worked out it's going to be about $3 a serve. So $3 versus 20, 15, 16. Oh, warm, nice. That's definitely a winner. So I know the first 2 seasons and even going into season 3, there's a lot of reheating, reconstituting food that they've already cooked or prepped before the trip. As we start going into winter now, good thing about that, more fire, camp ovens. We get to do some camp oven cooking, and there's going to be a bit more cooking, air quotes, over reheating, reconstituting food that they've already done at home. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're looking forward to it as well. I've got some good ideas for some food to have away, but in the meantime, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this. Nothing like a bit of port to warm the night up. So what have we done? We've come into our bush camp, met some big local inhabitants. Hopefully he's now gone. Cooked the feed. The fire's taken a bit longer to die down. Obviously a lot of wood in there. In being sort of off-grid, secretive, having that natural depression to have the fire in's been good for light radiation going back across to the walking track, but because of that, it's not really throwing out much light. So got the lantern, got the head torch, and yeah, nothing to do now but sit back and listen to the crickets. Well, that's only one cricket by the sound of it, so anyway. Morning. Well, surprisingly, I think I got all the rocks. That was pretty comfy. Oh, for a 20-year-old swag. Jump up. Jumper slash pillow. Hat. I get that one. Nice and warm. Definitely nice and warm. I can't fault these King's sleeping bags. They just, well, I can. They don't like staying zipped. Hence the baby pin. Don't like staying zipped up. Oh. Get some socks. These are fantastic. Kmart has a it's a 7-pack. Bit bigger one for a couple of nights away, or down to a toiletry bag size. Just travel bags. Got a netting top, so whatever's in there can breathe. And yeah, I've got overnight clothes, beanie, toothbrush, some gloves if it got colder. So definitely something worth picking up. And I think I think it was $10, so it's under $1 per bag. This is a good little overnight one. Next size up I was going to take to William Hovell if I rode the bike up there. So, oh, mosquitoes out already, and I've got caterpillars. G'day. Mozzies are out already, so obviously the coils have died down. We have no protection. Oh, this is going to be fun. Give me your foot. Oh. So, first order of business is get the fire going. It's obviously out. Get some coal so I can cook, and start packing camp up. Cockies. Fly right overhead. Oh, look at all them. All the mojitos. Everywhere. Alright. Surprised there's still some coals down in here. Still heating the fire, so we're going to see if I can get him going without any help. Absolutely spewing as I was getting up. You could hear the unmistakable sound of kangaroos in the bush, and just on the other side of that dirt mound there. feeding, grazing. By the time I snuck over the bike and got my phone, just so I could zoom in because this camera doesn't have zoom. Got it all, come up, start recording video, and all of a sudden heads come up, and there was no hesitation, there was no, what's he doing? There's just bang, gone. Ended up being about 10 of them. I can only see the 2, but unfortunately, couldn't get that on camera, of course. So that's lit straight up, that's good. Normally not that lucky in the morning. One big mistake a lot of people do is throw as much wood as you can on the fire before you go to bed, hoping there's something still going in the morning. This is a first. Normally, doesn't matter how much wood you put on, it's just going to burn hotter and faster, so you're better off just conserving what wood you got and just relighting in the morning. Or better yet, go camp with someone that gets up real early and they can light it for you. The other important thing too, I'm only going to be here for an hour, hour and 2, so there's no point getting it stoked up with big timber. So when I get it going, get some coals on it I can cook with, and that way you're not trying to put out a raging fire before you leave camp. And I'll do that. Give that some time to take off. Ooh. Then we'll start looking at cooking some brekkie. Ready-made coffee and sugar. Ow, it gets warm. Swap these over. Still plenty of ice. A good little thing, these Dometic ice boxes. They seem to stay cold for a very long time and keep your ice. Overnight trips like this, it's been fantastic. I think that's the line. And it's the smallest one, or the biggest one I can get to fit into that backpack on the bike, so it, not only is it the perfect size, keeps everything nice and cool. Improvise. Problem with tall cups, you need a tall spoon. Unlike lamb stew. Fire's nearly burnt down now, so we can get some food cooking soon. Yeah, come on. Try and land on me now, I've got Bushman's on. Mozzies are thick and fast this morning. The Mozzie calls definitely done their thing last night. I don't know if the weatherman's getting it horribly wrong again, but it was supposed to be 5 degrees last night, and Yeah, 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to take my jumper off. It's pretty mild and there's no cloud cover either. So, but the rain is moving in today. So, yep, I have to get the stuff done and pack up camp and get out of here earlier than I wanted to. But I'm just waiting for that sun to get a bit higher so I can start drying some things out. There's not a heavy dew. The ground's a little bit damp. Canvas, as soon as it bloody get any dew, and it soaks into canvas anyway. So the swag will be going home and getting unrolled in the veranda in the sunshine. But coffee. In the meantime, I'll just keep on listening to the birds sing. Going to do some scrambled eggs. Those coals are cooked down now nicely, cooked down. Just don't want to melt my hand on my pan. Get oil out of our pantry. Won't need much because it's a non-stick. Get our bacon in there first. One of the biggest things I see people do is trying to cook with flames and real hot coals. As I've said before, low and slow, you don't want to burn the shit out of the food when you're cooking it. Just let it do its thing. Take its time, it'll cook. It'll cook when it's ready. It's not too hot. And while that's sizzling away, just got some tomato and red onion diced up as well. And a bit of flavour. And as I done last trip, your eggs, your milk, and your seasoning, some chives, pepper and salt, and a little bit of curry powder, all in the bottle, ready to go. Especially on the bike, you haven't got eggs broken in the esky. It's not takes up bugger all space. Just got to give it a good mix. Get all that flavouring off the floor, off the bottom of the bottle. Not the best fire layout for cooking with all these bloody rocks in the hole, but ideally I should have pulled the coals out on the bank here with the shovel, but that's doing its job. That's not too far off. Once that tomato sweat and onion sweats down a little bit. Rightio, I'm pretty happy with that. Those onions have gone opaque, clear, whatever you want to call. Tomatoes broken down. I'll grab our egg mixture. Straight in. So that's, I think that's 3 eggs I've put in there. That bottle could probably take 7 or 8, so it's important, especially once the eggs go in, you don't increase your heat anymore. That's been sizzling away there nicely for 5 minutes. It's about the same heat as I put in the pan when I'm home cooking as well, so it's turned out really well. Give that a good chance to cook the bottom of the egg, and then we'll start mixing it through and scrambling. I do have this nice big stone baked bread from Coles. It's a cheesy garlic bread one I was going to have it on, but it's got to be in an oven for 5 or 6 minutes to heat up and melt that cheese again, and I don't really want to just throw it on the fire. Plus I'm not really that hungry either. And I've had these rolls before as hamburger rolls, these stone baked ones from there, but they got the consistency of muffin dough almost, and my jaw was sore from from eating the last hamburger roll I used one as, just because they're so dense and so chewy. I ended up just taking the top off and having an open bun burger. So save that for next time. I might do a garlic bread. That might nearly fit in the hobo oven, so I might save that for, I'll save this for home, but I'll get another one for next time I've got the hobo oven out. Once it starts to go, it'll go pretty quick, especially when there's still that much heat in there. Normally at home I'll back the heat right off now, but I can easily do that here by taking it off the coals. Oh, of course I'm going to get ash in there. Coffee's still hot thanks to the insulated thermos cup. Obviously, because I'm trying to save the plastic handle, this handle end of the pan's the coldest, so just need to keep moving that around. As I said last night with the soup slash stew, 9 times out of 10 you cook something that doesn't look that appetizing, but that's going to be delicious. No cheese, damn it. That's good. Oh. Mm. We are only about 5k off the highway, so and being a public holiday, there's a lot of traffic on the road, hence the background noise, which is a shame, just takes away from the ambience of camp. But before I pack up and head out, just wanted to have a little bit of a chat about the channel. Like I stated last season, that although it's great getting views, subscribes and that sort of thing, I'm sort of doing this as a bit of a historical document to my life and what I enjoyed doing in case the inevitable should happen. Also sort of held off on season 3 as well, just to see if the subscribers numbers were going to go up, and they have. 60 of yous, or just over 60 now, have subscribed, which is great. Thanks a lot for that. As I've said before, I don't need you to put notifications on or anything else. You go to YouTube, you'll see your playlist or your favourite channels come up, and it'll be there somewhere. But it'd be good to grow the channel a little bit more, just to not say make it all this worth it, but it does take time, effort and money to do these sort of things. So even just commenting on a video, if you've got any questions, where'd my stool come from, this chair I'll address in a later video. I'm only new to motorbike camping, so I don't know it all.
and but happy to help anyone else that's starting as well with what I've done, what I'm doing. With the war overseas and fuel prices, diesel's still sitting around the $2 a litre, so at this point, for the foreseeable future anyway, unless I just do something close like this, the patrol's going to stay at home, and we'll mostly be motorbike camping, which going into winter is not favourable. But oh, that's still hot. These thermos mugs are fantastic. That coffee's been made for nearly an hour and a half, and yes, it's taken me an hour and a half to get through it, but it's because it's so bloody hot. Yeah. So to everyone that's commented on my videos before, asking questions and all that, thank you. Please keep it up. Again, no questions too stupid, just okay, there are stupid questions, but it's all part of the fun. If you're on the socials, head over to Facebook. Budget Adventure Shows on Facebook too. Give it a like. I normally post photos up of trips I'm about to do, and mods sort of things doing around the house. So if you are on Facebook, go and check that out. Yeah. Yep. Just need to talk a bit more. Let me know you're out there. Let me know you're watching the videos and liking them. Again, hitting that like button on the YouTube video, that's pretty good. Or just being a subscriber. So hopefully the views and the subscriptions keep going up. It'll be great. But again, at the end of the day, I'm not a glory hound. I'm not here chasing subscribers. Unfortunately, it's a female's world with this sort of thing. You look at a lot of YouTube channels, bushcraft and motorbiking and camping, all that sort of stuff, and yeah, if you're of the female persuasion, you tend to have a lot more likes, a lot more views. I won't be running around spandex or yoga wear on my bike, so yeah. But the important thing is just get out there, just plan a weekend and go. Look at the map. Don't look at the map, just point the bike forward, point the car forward, and just drive. Good ones, drive about half a day somewhere. When you get to somewhere that looks good, pull over, explore the area, camp the night, and you know you're only half a day home the next day. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to put this fire out and start packing some stuff up, and we'll see if we can find the right track out. Not like coming in last night. Like the main problem there is, as the sun was going down, I had my sunglasses on, and once we got into the bush, it got a bit darker, a bit hard to spot the track. So hopefully we don't have the same problem heading out, but we'll see. Alright, got camp cleaned up, fire's out, the horse is loaded, so see how we go getting out of here. It's funny, I took her in for a 7,000k service a couple of weeks ago, and the service agent or mechanic found a stick jammed in between the oil filter and one of the exhaust sensors on the front, so I had to get motivated, well, that was motivation to get stuck in and get the bash plate ordered, so it's at home now. Something to do. Yeah, so that's what went wrong yesterday. I followed the roo run.